Are you kind of taking a lot of myths and things that you're into literally and trying to find your own way to present a story that exists? Are you creating a lot of hybrids? Are you kind of like how much liberty are you taking with the narrative on the front end before you even start drawing?
It depends on the subject. Certain things like Greek mythology, there's a lot of information and a lot of contradicting stories, and obviously those characters are involved in multiple stories across that like mythology. So really, when you have something like that, it's like, well, what part of his story do you want to tell? And a lot of times with the Greek mythology stuff, what I really get into is the symbolic ideas that are attached to them. So like the ghost one, it's like, okay, so she's the goddess of ghosts and madness and, insanity. And so it's like, how can I take that and embody it in a person? And then what kind of, place would she inhabit? Like, she was one where it's like, you probably haven't read about her. You probably haven't, like, she's not in a lot of like the mainstream cultural, like movies or TV shows or anything like that. So then you really kind of have to build that entire character, because there's not a lot to go off of. You literally have to kind of do some digging on the internet, find enough things that kind of check out, and multiple times where you're like, okay, they keep saying this, they keep saying this, they keep saying, so I'm going to work with that, And so for her, it's like, sky's the limit. I can kind of go whichever way I want with that. But then when I work with like an anime, that's a pretty dialed in character already with a pretty dialed in setting and background. And so like in that case, you're really just kind of picking like what setting of the movie or the series that they were in that you want to work with, what characters, what accessories, what outfits, So in that sense, I don't feel like I'm getting to tell like as much of a different story. I'm just telling that story, but I'm just doing it in tattoo form, And the one thing I really try to stay away from is any kind of like absolute representation from the film or the movie or the comic book or anything like that. I don't want to do anything that looks too much like the comic book or too much like the movie. I want it to still read as my artwork. So like drawing it all from hand, not, there's no tracing, there's no like pulling things and like trying to, work it into a piece. I don't do any of that.